Welcome back to Golf 215. I'm Anthony. He is Joe. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Across from us, we have on Mike Callahan from The Crossing. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, great to see you guys.
Same here. We've been talking up this event for the past year at least. Um, but before we dive in, any update on The Crossing?
So I'm hoping to have some big updates soon. I've got a meeting next week. I won't tease anything out too soon right now because I want to come on and have a little bit more firm news with you guys, but some really productive meetings forthcoming that hopefully will then lead to some further announcements before the end of the year here on potentially a location on where this may come into play. So not going to make my July 2025 build timeframe, but maybe we'll have an early look on America's birthday next year.
Love that. All right.
That's all right.
I'm excited. Can't wait
That
to
just
hear
means we're
that.
locking you in for another visit.
Yeah, hell
Love
yeah.
that. Tease it out.
Awesome. All right, boys, it's Ryder Cup time.
Oh, is it? Hold on.
It absolutely is. What do you got?
You were gonna
Nice.
say
Nice. Is that this year's?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, did you get it from the site this year?
Probably not because it was a whatnot win, so it's probably last year's.
Gotcha. It looks like Thursdays.
Yeah, actually, it's 23.
oh, there you go.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I have on too. I have a 23 on.
23.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's Ryder Cup time. I know we did kind of like a preview of what these teams could look like, or kind of around June. We did it. We jumped on. Um, first, let's do this. Let's lay the teams out. Let's kind of get everybody caught up, in case they are unaware of who's on these teams, and then we'll go from there. So, uh, Team Europe. We'll start with the bad guys first. Ludwig Oberg, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Terrell Hatton, Ramos Hogard, Victor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Robert McIntyre, Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Justin Rose, and Sepp Straka, captained by Luke Donald.
Gross.
And the boys in red and blue, we got Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay, Bryson DeChambeau, Harris English, Ben Griffin, Russell Henley, Colin Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, J.J. Spawn, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Cameron Young. Captained by Joe's boy, Keegan Bradley.
Love a good underdog.
So, first is, and Mike, you and I were throwing back some messages about who we thought were going to be the captain's pick, or captain's picks. Did this team come out to be who you thought was going to be on the team? Were there any surprises?
The So it's not. I wouldn't say it's overly surprising. The When you look at the team, I mean, I think my biggest surprise right now is seeing like a Justin Thomas sneak in there, who's not been playing his best golf the last 2 years, has really kind of been riding the struggle. And in an event like this, he does bring the right energy, but energy and game are two different things. So we need people that can go up against a pretty stacked European lineup. So I probably would have thought through who else is real hot right now, who else has been kind of holding down the latter half of the season that could be a good role into Bethpage. I don't mind some of the picks though because of the distance that these guys carry. It's just, Bethpage is going to eat people up if you're not accurate. And that's my biggest fear with this team on the U.S. side right now, Morikawa included. I mean, Morikawa's been really struggling as of late. And I just get concerned about what the matchups may look like. I'm not going to lie. I am upset that we don't have a playing captain with how hot captain's been at the end of the year. But, it's on paper, it looks the way that I think it should have turned out. But, there's a little bit more of the gut feelings I probably would have gone with if I was sitting in Captain Keegan's position.
Joe,
Yeah.
any surprises here or?
No, so I mean, some of the names could potentially be surprising, but I'm thinking like more if we were to make the list earlier in the year, right? I think looking at the snapshot of like where we were when the selections are made, I think they all kind of make sense. Like there's nothing I didn't see any big major snub in any big major, like, whoa, really? And the one thing that I had mentioned to you, Anthony, was like you could nitpick, between a couple of the last few selections, but then when you look at the best available, it's like, who are you really clamoring to get in there in place of one of these guys, right? Um, and then Mike, to your point, yeah. So JT hasn't been, doing, showing up his best this year, but he is someone who historically like gets up in these moments, and he's got that experience, right? So I think we're lacking in years of experience when you look across the pond at the European team.
Yeah, I was shocked to hear Justin Thomas is the oldest veteran on the USA team,
That's pretty crazy.
which I'll say this. Here's my first point. And not that I want to badmouth anybody, but I know I haven't been the best Keegan supporter that's out there. I get that. But I'm shocked about these captain's picks. Okay? And I like most of them. What I'm shocked about is I was promised by Captain Keegan that they brought him in to do something different. And I don't see anything different in this captain's picks. I feel like he went, as our buddy Bobby Bricks would say, chalk. That's how it feels. I'm not I'm not saying that that's what happened, but the picks seem kind of. I mean, Mike, I texted you. I think I got two wrong, right? Like, and two of them were I I would have taken Ricky in this lineup instead of a couple people, and who was the other guy that we were throwing back and forth? You had Goddard, which I thought
Got
would
her.
be a great let's throw somebody else in the mix, and oh man, I can't think of his name off the
You
top of my
could
head.
bring. I think you had Batia in there as one thought at one point.
Mattia, right? Just somebody different, a younger guy who can take us into the next phase of this Ryder Cup, right? But in hindsight, these guys are all young guys. I mean, they could theoretically play in the next, I don't know, 15 Ryder Cups.
That might be
Um,
that might be aggressive. That's 30 years.
I
It's an
mean,
interesting. The tour's at an interesting place right now of like journeymen with young like young stars trying to come out, and it's
Yeah.
all just behind Scotty's shadow. Like I think that's the hardest thing with the PGA Tour right now is you lost all of the big competitors to live, so you've lost your Kepkas, your Johnsons, like you've lost all these big players, and now there's no qualification out of those guys, and there's no motivation anymore. So you can't even throw a captain's pick at them. I mean, look, Cam Smith didn't even make the European team. He fell off the face of the earth, and the guy was one of the best in the world.
for sure, for sure. I,
One
I will say, and I know you guys just brought him up as maybe not somebody that uh, should have been picked because of his playing ability. But as Captain Keegan said, he is the heart and soul of this USA team, and Justin Thomas is going to lead us to victory. And he here's what I like about the Justin Thomas pick. Spieth isn't in this. When the two of them, when they were on fire, they fed off each other.
Yeah.
But man, when they played poorly, they just crashed and burned all day. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to see who he mixes in with Justin Thomas and that pairing.
and here's some food for thought too, right? So you said that you're a little disappointed because Keegan said that he's going to bring something different, right? That might not mean bring something different to the picks, right? That may mean bring something different to strategy, bring something different to how he gets these guys excited, and rared up to play, bring something different in how he prepares them to play, right? Because I feel like, I don't remember all of the details from the last Ryder Cup, but if I recall correctly, didn't the European squad like set aside a couple weeks, get works in together, and you had some of the US guys were still playing in tournaments like a week or two beforehand, right? And weren't like necessarily gearing up and focused on Ryder Cup yet.
Absolutely. And I think we were just talking about this, but Keegan called like a tune-up session this week. Um, and I feel like they're going to be playing next week. I feel like from this point forward, they're playing. I also remember reading something about the Shambos. He will not be able to play, something to do with him being in live, and it goes against PGA. I'm not 100% sure on that. Um, but I do like the fact that he is getting it out in front of this and getting these guys to play with each other a couple weeks out. You're right on that. That is different, and I do like that. I actually have that written down in my notes.
The other thing, like shaking it up a little bit, you do look at it, like he took the 14th, 15th, and 16th ranked players from the list here this year. So like he skipped down over a handful of people, which I think was smart. I mean, Brian Harman going out on Bethpage Black, he was not gonna to bring the fire. He was not gonna bring any distance. He was gonna struggle out there. And then you look at some of the others, like what was it? Andrew Novak was in there. There's just a lot of green players that moved up the list this year. And you know, there's just not a lot of other people that you would have pulled up the ranks. I still miss Goddard though.
Oh,
And
me
he
too.
was one of them too, right? Where'd he finish? 11th, Keegan.
Keegan was where'd Keegan end up?
10,
Keegan was
10,
11th. Yeah,
11.
he was 11th.
So
So
I so looking back, I know we talked about this a lot, right? Looking back, you had all these media pundits like really pushing for him to select himself. And I kind of wanted him to as well, right? Because he's been a hot hand.
yeah,
I wonder how much, like, now that I can stop and look backwards a little bit, I wonder how much of that is not them just pressing for the good storyline, right? Because either way, that's a that's an amazing storyline for them. Either
yeah.
he goes, selects himself, and they win, and it's this, massive, like, 1,000 IQ move, or he selects himself and they lose, and it's the big storyline. Did they lose because he selected himself? Was he truly focused on the team? Like, I think they were just pushing for that narrative because it writes itself.
Yeah.
So while I wanted him to pick himself when he was like 7 and 8, once he dropped down to 11, I'm like, probably better that he doesn't.
It's a stress. That's a stressful thing for
Yeah,
someone to go out there. You're trying to captain it in an area where you've spent a lot of your life. Like you're from the Northeast. This is your land. Like this is. It's hard to. I think it's hard to sit there and focus on what's best for the team while you're also focused on your game. So, I respect the decision. I was pushing hard for him last time I was on with you guys. I really wanted to see playing
I did
Captain
too.
Geeks, but I totally think he made the right call at the end of the day. I love the Cam Young pick. Cam came hot on the end of the season, plus New York. Like the guy grew up in the Met playing golf. His dad was at Sleepy Hollow. I think still may even be at Sleepy Hollow. Like that's huge having a guy like that. You know what fans do in New York. That's a big piece in this whole pick is how do you get the right rally to come around where you watch Cam Young drain a 25 footer. They'll hear that from Long Island all the way through to Boston. You'll be hearing screams.
I've seen a few people predict that this event, because of the recent uptick in fan interest in golf, the fact that it's in New York, right? That this event could be like a huge catapult to golf viewership as a whole and could be like that one defining event, even like transcending Masters and things like that, where people look back and be like, wow, that 2025 Ryder Cup was just insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
So
could.
let's hope it does, and let's hope that the chips fall the correct way.
exactly.
One thing I will add here, speaking about different, and look, other Ryder captains maybe have done this in the past. We don't know, right? But now we're living in a time where we kind of live in the public eye with everything that these people do, right? We got to see some of the phone calls that were made to these guys and the emotion that they had when they were on those phone calls, and the next day during the meeting when they introduced each one of them. Um, so the one thing that they brought up was I want to say it was around the U.S. Open where Keegan went and hung something in the potential players' lockers. And I feel like that was him trying to figure out who wants this. And the ones that then went and played and probably spoke to it, I know one of the guys was in the parking lot yelling at him, "Hey, pick me at the U.S. Open or whatever." Like, I feel like he was out to find the people that actually want to be here, actually want to play, fighting every step of the way to move up in the rankings. I feel like he skipped over people for a reason, and he picked this group of six for a specific reason. And I do like that, right? Like, who has the energy to want to come out and play for your country and go win finally?
Yeah.
I like, man, I'm getting motivated right now, man. I love this event.
Oh, it's the
I
best.
mean, this for me is like 1A, 1B, this and the Masters.
Yeah.
This is it. I mean, it's so much fun and so much fun to watch the crowd. And you're right, like this being in New York, it could be the game changer. And if there
Yeah.
was any game changer needed with these two teams, it's going to be the crowd. For those of
Totally.
you watching, if you are going, you better be loud and never shut up the entire time. Get the chants rolling, get in their heads early. We need you. We need hype men out there. That's what we need. Oh man,
Totally.
now I kind of wish we were going. I'm all fired up.
The one thing I'm just thinking about too, and all of that, like the fans are going to be a defining point in all of this, and I think especially when you look back to the last Ryder Cup, it's a team event. Like the last time when we went to the Ryder Cup, there was way too much individualism out there where it was not team oriented. We had Cantlay dealing with his hat issues and I won't wear it. I'm going to fight everyone. Like he better not pull any of that shit this year. Like he better be on his best behavior, team player. Like we truly need the team has to come together. And that's where, Anthony, you were talking about it earlier with Justin Thomas. I hope this is his defining moment of like being the Jason Kelsey of the Philadelphia Eagles. He has to be the Jason Kelsey of this Ryder Cup team that is the glue that brings all these guys together, that motivates this team to go in and fight differently than what they have in the past. So I can't wait. I'm so pumped for this one.
I'll tell you what, too. I think he's going to, right?
Yeah.
Because we talked about it before, all these guys are head cases, right? I think he's to the further extreme of head cases. For whatever reason, I just have a feeling that this is going to set him on the right track. I feel like he's going to step up and perform well. And I think it's going to springboard his personal game following the Ryder Cup as well. So I like the pick. I think it's the best value pick out there, right? It's a bit of a flyer because there are guys that were performing better, but like when I look at the next, like let's say it's the next 20 guys, right? If I look at the next 20 guys that were available for the captain's picks to select, I think he's probably got the most upside of any of them in there. So I like
Yeah.
the pick, I like the gamble, and I think he's going to come through.
I think you're right, Joe. I think this is sometimes you need that defining moment in your career to be that catalyst to go and set you off for the future, especially in an individual sport like golf. It's such a mental game that as you get kind of down and down and you're having a hard time through it, you have a good week that's just a life-changing moment like the Ryder Cup on Bethpage Black. I mean, he could come out next season firing. I just
Yeah.
wish next season wasn't so far off.
You're putting the teams together for Friday and Saturday. Joe, let's start with you. Who's one pairing from the U.S. that you want to see together? Who do you think
So
start? Well, you know what? And this is going to be the first pairing out. Who starts us off?
so I often struggle with stuff like this. Like, do you want to create a monster squad, right? A power team, right, to go out there and get started, or do you want to like balance out your teams? The fact that we started with a goose egg in the last Ryder Cup, I think we need to get out there and get a point. And I look at these guys. The obvious selection is Scotty, right? He's been the top guy for forever. He's going to be your consistent. He's not going to be your thrills guy, right? He's going to get out there. He's going to have good scores. He's going to put himself in a position to win holes, but he's not going to do anything over the top. Because of that, I think you need to pair him with the guy who is going to do that, who is going to go for the gusto, who's going to go for take the risks. I think you put Scotty and Bryson together, send them out first, try to get a point, send a message.
I like that. Mike?
So I'm right there with you, Joe, on Scotty. I think you have to have your just lead horse out there taking charge. With Scotty, I there's a couple of ways I go here. I think there's the Scotty Sam Burns opportunity. Good buddies, play on the weekends together. Sam needs that, like, if he's trying to bubble him up, trying to get him going, it could be a nice kickoff to just like light Sam's fire for the week. I also don't mind the Scotty plus Cam Young. I mean, Cam Young, like if you have Scotty inconsistent, Cam Young's whole thing is he can fire at pins and he can make putts. So if you open Cam Young up to be able to go aggressive, that could be a really interesting pairing to start off with if you have Steady Eddie with him.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds really good too. That's actually three really good groupings right there. I mean, I agree with you. And to me, Cam Young and Sam Burns kind of come off as being interchangeable.
Yep.
So I could see either one of them being with Scotty and even DeChambeau, right? Like he's got that firepower, and put him with somebody that's consistent and can fire up pins. I mean, you could put him with Scotty, Sam, or Cam. So
Yeah.
Anthony, we always talk about when we're in a scramble or playing in a tournament together, who's going to be the steady Eddie and who's going to take the chances.
yeah,
If you were to take the U.S. team, right, as 12 playing cards, um, how would you separate them into the steady Eddies and the risk takers?
oof, interesting. Well, I think we just said three of them, right? So Sam, Cam, and Scotty are steady Eddies. I would throw Xander in there. And by steady Eddie, I'm also looking at um, emotion, right? These guys all know how to
Mm,
stay in check,
that's a good point. Yeah.
and they don't get like too fired up, but they also don't get too low either. Um, that's just four off the top of my head that would be like your steady Eddies. I mean,
I, and
hype
that's
men, firemen, hype men. I'm
and
looking
maybe
at
that's
what's that?
maybe that's part of the problem with the U.S. team, right? Because we look at this European team and it's like, damn, I think not that this is a bad thing because on any given day this is pretty good, but like, I think we have too many steady eddies, and we don't have a lot of those risk taker or to your other point, hype men, right? I mean, off the top of my head, based on whose games that I'm familiar with, I put Bryson and JT in there. Um,
I would throw Cantley in there as well,
yeah, Cantley.
especially like after last year. He can find that emotion when he wants it. Hat on or hat off, it doesn't make a difference. He'll find it. And I could actually see him coming into this one with something to prove because of what happened last year.
Was that a
Years ago.
miss in the captain selections where we didn't go out and maybe replace one of these like steady Eddie guys with someone who may not necessarily be such a lock to perform well, but is going to be in there firing people up.
Who's one person?
Yeah, I'm saying no. Was that a miss that they didn't do that? And if it was, who would you have wanted to see in there in that role?
Oh man, I so so I do think that he picked one person because I think JT is the hype guy,
Yeah,
right? Like
but that could be an up hype or a down hype
it,
depending on
it
how
could
he's
be.
playing.
It could be, but he is also somebody that's played in a bunch of Ryder Cups. He's also played with probably he's played with this person that I'm going to bring up. Um, and he understands how to create energy in places where there might not be energy or there might be a ton of nerves going. I mean, a guy walked out on the first tee box and just started waving his hands and yelling. I mean, nerves were not a problem for the past few Ryder Cups for him. But I will say I think that there's one guy missing on this team. I would not say he's the popular opinion pick. I wouldn't say that he's done anything to show he should be on this team recently. But hear me out on this, everybody. Bear with me a
Oh
second.
shit! I know what you're gonna say.
The guy that's missing from this team, or the personality that's missing from this team, is Phil Mickelson.
You're so right and so wrong at the same time.
I listen, I'm not saying you go get Phil Mickelson,
I
right?
know.
But what I'm saying is what he brings and what he has brought to a Ryder Cup team in the past. Like, and Joe, you and I were talking about this, right? The little mind games that people play with each
Yeah.
other on the course. What he brought to the past Ryder Cups is something we could be missing.
Yeah. Do
So
you bring him in the locker room?
100%, I'm bringing him in. Look, I don't know how everyone in the PGA world feels about him, right?
Yeah.
All that stuff, they could all be best friends still. I mean, the guy's still out there golfing on YouTube Golf. He's played with Grant Horvat. I mean, he might be, liked by all these people still. If he is, I'm 100% bringing him in the locker room. Yeah.
I'll tell you who else we need in the locker room, because I don't know if you guys, I know you watched it, Anthony, but that YouTube live golf event they had, we need Marshawn Lynch in that locker room too. That guy's electric on a golf course.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mike, is there somebody missing from this team?
I was just, as you guys were talking, I was thinking about this more, and I was trying to rattle through who on tour is like the energy right now. And the two people I go to are two Europeans. And that's where you see what's wrong with the US
Yeah,
version of the tour right now. Like
it's stuffy.
it's so stuffy. Like Siwoo Kim and Tom Kim. Like, if those
When
guys
you say it, I'm like, I know where he's going with
I'm
this.
like, I would have loved one of them to
Yep.
come in and be on our Ryder Cup team, because the energy, what I think about is like, I think about even this weekend. I don't know if you saw the Irish Open at all, where Rory was behind and, one guy's playing lights out, throwing eagles up there. And then Rory rolls into 18 and drains like a 35 footer for eagle to just break this guy's heart and take him to a playoff, and then takes him out in a playoff. And you're just like, you think about those 35-foot putts and like the energy that comes off of that. I don't see anyone on the US team that's sitting there with that kind of game right now, other than Scotty. Like and maybe Bryson will bring it too. Like, I think Bryson will get into that same game, but I'm struggling to think of a name, to be honest with you. I love the Phil Mickelson bring up, because I mean, he's truly going to bring the most. But gosh, it's the US team right now, just the US in general right now, it's got a image problem kind of in the opportunity area.
And Mike, where the reason I thought of that was I'm sitting there watching old videos on YouTube and old matches, right? And Sevi keeps coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, the stories on him, what he would do in the mind games that these Europeans would play,
Yeah.
like calling out the wrong club that they're going to swing. And US is like, wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, how far are we? And then they're hitting the wrong club, and Europeans are just laughing, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want someone who's going to bring that type of it. We need one person with that thought. JT's right now the only connection with that. I mean, I want to say Scotty played with him at Whistling Straits.
I think they did go out together.
So I mean, maybe he's got some of that mentality, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe he's thinking some of that. Hopefully, somebody in here has some sort of thought process about that. Play mind games. This is match play. This isn't stroke
Yeah.
play.
It's you do think about that, like Tiger Woods back in the day, like no one's playing mind games out there. And like Scotty, I don't think Scotty plays mind games. Scotty plays Scotty's game.
Yeah.
So he's too locked in. But I look at the list, and I don't think there's a person in the top 25, as I look at the rankings right now, that sits in that category that you were just speaking to.
Yeah,
You don't
I don't either.
Tom Hoagie, Lucas Glover, Denny McCarthy, Daniel Berger, like they're not those guys. They're all nice guys. Like, we have a
Nice
nice team.
guys.
We have a really nice team.
We do. We do.